Okay, we're streaming.
Um, Oh, the hosers are back with a new theme. Oh, this is nice. Oh yeah, I like that. So are we going right at 10:10, right at the start of the top?
Yeah, I think we're technically live right now.
Top of the 10 minute. All right, all right. Okay, well we can start now. Good morning, world. The Hosers are back. Welcome back to our official season 3. The Hosers have had some time off, some time to recoup, some time to gain our energy back. Some crazy things have happened. 2020 is a present that has held some letdowns for us for sure. Um, Thank you guys all for sticking with us through this trying time. Sorry for the lack of content, but we are back. We are set to go. Let's get this show on the road.
I'm
Aiden, good
excited.
morning, my good friend. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the new season. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm excited to be back too, man. Um,
Yeah.
the last 3 months of 2020 has been pretty well, I guess the first three, the last 3 months, been pretty crazy. We've seen like a lot of crazy historical events that have happened just within the 3 months of this year, including the acquittal of President Donald Trump in an impeachment trial. You
Was
have
that
the
this
death
year
of
or was that
Kobe
in
Bryant.
2019? This has been such a long year, dude.
20, I thought it was 2020,
Was
right?
it? I have no idea.
I
Like
think
I'm actually
2020, yeah.
asking because it's
The-
felt like forever.
yeah, that's another thing too. The reference time frame for this year has felt like a day is a year. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's crazy.
dude.
But on top, so you have like the death of Kobe Bryant, and then on top of all that, like the rapid spread of coronavirus pandemic, which is a big change since you guys saw us last in the studio.
Right? Like I think our last
Yeah.
episode was the one with young Jizz, Andrew. And that was in March. No, February? March. One of the
Mhm.
two. And that was just
Yeah.
like that was we did not want that to be our last episode. It was just by default, like within the span of like 3 days the school was shut down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Did you even have like in that time, like back last year, last semester, like in March, did you like have any idea that we'd be where we are now in the state the world's in? Like, did you think that it'd get this bad?
I was like, yo, it's just like another reading week. We get a week off, Like I was like, okay, everyone's kind of overreacting, and then I kind of watched some videos explaining how exponentials work because I failed math, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is gonna be a month long, and then what 6 months later we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's like when you have like the higher powers telling the people to try and keep us calm, just giving us like something to look forward to, right? Oh, by this month, in 4 months, we're gonna be back to like a regular stage and regular way of life, or in 4 months, or by this time, by that time, just to kind of push, and keep everybody sane and looking forward to something that's going to bring us back to normal. But it's been pushed so far and so often. I just wonder if this is going to be like our new normal for years to come, rather than just like a year long term, like they're talking about.
Yeah, like what they're saying is that we're gonna have these mask restrictions in place for like 1, 2, 3 years. Like even after everyone's vaccinated, like the masks aren't gonna go away for a long time. Which I'm okay with. I
Yeah,
like hiding my face in public. Whenever I had to walk to yours to get a ride in the van or pick up the van or whatever, I'd have like my mask on and my sunglasses. I felt like fucking Batman or some shit.
yeah. Well, dude, like that's one thing I was thinking about this the other day, like just with the masks. I remember, let's go back to like first year. Let's say like 2018, 19-ish. Um, I remember like you'd see like one person with a mask out on the street and you'd be like, "Oh wow, like that would catch your eye," and you'd be kind of wondering like, "Oh, I wonder if they're really thinking about, illnesses and viruses or the possibility of.
Or if it's just a fashion
But
statement, right?
exactly,
Yeah,
and that's another thing too. I was wondering, do you think like, let's say after the use of like medical masks is kind of like run its course, and we don't really need them for a medical reason anymore, do you think that they're going to kind of stay as like a fashion symbol just to represent this time? Do
I think
you
so.
think they'll
I
like
think they're here to
become
stay, man. Like I think even in like flu season in the future when, COVID's hopefully over, I think people will put masks on, in the winter cuz it keeps your face warm too, right? It's a new
it
scarf.
does it does
Yeah.
I usually don't wear them if I'm like walking outside from place to place. But just the last couple of days I've been wearing it because it does keep your face warm, which is a nice little positive.
Problem for me
Um,
is that I kind of optionally wear glasses, Like I don't
mhm,
really need them to
mhm.
see, but like if I'm driving or something, I should have them. And it's just they don't work. Masks and glasses are like completely incompatible.
Yeah.
Like you just can't see, you just get
Um,
blind. Am I crackling for you?
yeah.
I
Well,
am?
with the like, say again, sorry,
Am I
I didn't catch
crackly
that
for
last
you?
part.
My voice okay? Hello.
It's crackling kind of in and out for me.
For you.
Are we getting messages from feed?
No, like my levels look fine in OBS.
Yeah, it might. It's only like cutting you off sometimes in some of your sentences on like the last word, but only sometimes. It's weird.
Okay, that
I
is
think it's okay though.
odd.
I'm doing okay. I can hear it relatively fine.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm kind
Um,
of do you have something?
yeah, I was gonna say, like, how are you dealing with everything that's going on? How are you dealing with like the struggles of having to work remotely, or like, do you find it less of a struggle?
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna bring up the remote work. I don't like it
Oh,
really. I thought I would, cause I'm a homebody. I like to be at home. I got my nice big computer there, but it's just so hard to like keep a regular work cycle. Like when you went into the office or you went into school, you were there to do your thing, and then you come home and you'd relax, right? It's hard to like peel
hmm
yourself off the couch to start working, and then it's hard to like peel yourself out of your chair to stop working.
hmm You almost need like a stop and start as like a place. You know what I mean? Like I prefer to have like a time to get up, get out of the house, go to a place to do work, and then come home, like you said, to just relax. I like having that kind of separation, and it's harder when not even just with like out of school work, but with school work and out of school work, like having that all happen in one place. And for us, like we're in apartments too, right? So having that happen in one smaller space is pretty tough after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and I just have everything there that could possibly distract me. And
hmm
then I'm like, oh, it's 11 p.m. Oh, I just got to finish this one last thing. And then it's like 1 a.m. And I'm like, why am I still doing this? I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole
Um.
remote broadcast
So
thing. So hopefully next week we'll be in the same room because this is a little bit brutal.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't enjoy this. But yeah, I had to train a bunch of the shows that wanted to go live. That was a little bit difficult too. I think we have like almost no live shows. Spirit Live has almost no live shows this year. There's like 24 or something like that, 29.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you look at our schedule, it's like empty.
Oh,
I think it's because nobody wanted to do remote.
right. Yeah. Do some people are a lot of groups trying to do like kind of like a not a half and half thing, but are they trying to do like some remote and then some shows together? Like, are some people thinking that they're gonna try to combine and like get together for some shows?
I know there's one show
I guess my
twin
question is like, can they change it if they will?
like I guess it's really up to the programmer, right? Like I guess if we decide to be in the same room and do something together, we're in each other's bubbles or whatever. that's up to us. But the way we have it set up is that
Mhm.
anybody who wants to do it the other way, the way we're doing it right now, it is a little bit amazing, because I'm what 600, 700 kilometers away from you right now, in the middle, literal middle of nowhere, you know, and we're having a radio show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I like that though. That's kind of like it brings like a cool little feel to it.
yeah.
Like I'm talking to like some like faraway ghost on a majestic land. Speaking of the farm though, speaking of the whereabouts, how's everything in Ottawa? What was the feel of getting back to Ottawa after your last time in Toronto?
It was it was good to get back, see all the animals. Um, I can bring up my mom's Instagram. That'd be kind of neat to show.
Hmm.
How about you? You went back to Ottawa for a bit, eh?
Yeah, yeah, I did. I went back. Would have been. Oh, geez, I can't even remember now. My referencing for like timeline right now is just all kinds of messed up. It's just like everything's one big blur right now. It's just work, constant.
Yeah.
But no, I went back like around like early October. Um, saw my mom, saw my family. But yeah, everything's good. Ottawa seems to be handling certain aspects of how people are reacting to this pandemic in better ways than Toronto seems to be. Like just in relation to like specifically the downtown cores of each city, I find Toronto. This is how to explain, but I feel like Toronto's leaving more space and more room for comfort for people. Like only a certain amount of people are going out, and they're the people that are wearing masks and making sure that they follow the guidelines. Where I feel like as in Ottawa, when I went back, a lot of the people that were still going out and being out and about and doing their day to day weren't following a lot of the guidelines. So I feel like that's kind of the only big difference that I've noticed.
Yeah, I'd say I'd noticed that. A big thing for me has been, you see all the anti-maskers, right? So I'm in Stittsville, like a little suburb of Ottawa, and
Yeah.
I went to Brown's, and there was
Mhm.
some guy in a Harley Davidson shirt with a big Duck Dynasty beard, giving some poor employee a hard time, and I'm like, these people are like, oh, I I have a medical condition, I can't wear a mask, and it's like, well, if you can't wear a mask because you can't breathe in it, maybe you shouldn't be out and about in a pandemic that attacks your respiratory system,
Yeah, that's such a
like
good point.
it's like, okay, like if you of all people can't wear a mask, then you of all people should not be
Yeah.
in public right now.
That's actually a really that's a really like contradicting aspect of their argument, eh? I didn't really
Yeah,
think of it like that. That's funny.
yeah.
So like let's go back to like January 7th, right? January like of
January
this year,
7th. What
World Health
happened on
Organization
January
is
7th?
When all this like was just a bare twinkle in the eye of
The bat.
I guess the eye of, crap. So January 7th, World Health Organization is notified of the novel coronavirus, then known as 2019 nCoV and COV in China. So this is initially notified, and like from my own memory, I remember being in the class around this time and having my teacher just kind of pull this random article up that wasn't even written by a credible source talking about this like possible virus that's found in China. And I remember like a lot of people were making jokes about it just because China has some sometimes some issues with outbreaking viruses just like any other really heavy populated country. But I remember people were kind of making jokes about it initially. um, I just had like a eerie feeling about it because I remember reading this book written by they're called like futurists, and they basically just write about what their predictions are of the future from any standpoint of business, politics, just based on what's happened in humans past to determine the future. And one writer detailed that there was going to be a extremely relevant like global virus pandemic within the years like 2020 to 2025. And almost like every point that he made that was detailing like the characteristics of how people would react is almost like the exact same uh, as like what actually happened. So that I've been thinking about that a lot. Some people anticipating that this would happen, and it did.
Well, even like I think someone noticed a pattern that in like 1520 there was a terrible pandemic, and then 1620, and then 1720, and then 1820, and then 1920 was is the one everyone is drawing comparisons to, the Spanish flu or whatever. And then like people in like 2019 were making memes of like, like is something gonna happen? And then of course it did.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's been
When
rough.
we're
Let's. Do
we're
you want to talk about something a little bit happier? We've spent the 15 minutes now talking about something everybody doesn't really want to hear about anymore.
yeah, let's get nice and easy breezy with it.
Yeah.
On a positive note, let's give a little catch up. Despite the novel coronavirus impacting so many of our lives, both Aidan and I did find some solace in keeping ourselves busy during the summer with a lot of work. Um,
A lot of work.
I'd say mine was a little bit more repetitive, but Aidan seemed to have a very exciting yet busy summer.
No.
I'd say we both did, but I think yours would be more so.
No. I did not have fun. I got.
Detail,
Yeah. I was kind of roped into doing Everest work. I had to carry furniture around all summer. It was not fun. And I was also doing my internship, and I had the worst roommate ever. Yeah, it was not a good summer, man. Trapped inside, didn't get to see any of my friends except for Everest and my roommates. Dude,
which is good,
this
but
is
only in
not going
public.
well. You know, this whole first 20 minutes of this episode are just like life sucks.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
man.
it's yeah.
Well, I'm even like my professors too. Like you can see it. It's one thing like when, you know, the students are being super affected and you're seeing how like people our age are reacting in good and bad ways. But when you see like the profs physically like drained and just you can tell they're just fed up with this whole thing and they're just like seconds away from just, dropping it all. It's discouraging in a different way. It just adds to the self feeling of like, frig, this really sucks.
Yeah, it does suck.
Mm.
That's all it is. Suck. I don't know. You want to talk about your bunnies? You got a picture you can send me of the bunnies I can put on stream? Was that this summer or last summer?
Oh, my bunnies, man. Yeah, let me see if I have a picture ready to go. So I don't know if the last time I don't think in the last episode I don't think I've mentioned the like what's been going on with the bunnies, eh?
I don't know. Was that this summer or
But
last
it
summer?
was
Like my
about
brain's so foggy.
that. No, that was last. That was last.
Last summer? Okay.
It had to be like yeah, it wasn't this. I didn't have them this summer. I don't think. No. Hold on, let me see if I can find a photo. But yeah, just for the listeners, I got two bunnies, which I'm sure, like you guys know, I love rabbits. Um, got two little guys, a male and a female, which is a terrible idea. You should never get a male and a female rabbit as pets, especially when they're both young, and especially when they're related. All
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Now, a commonality amongst a lot of marsupial slash rodent species is incestual reproduction. Um, it's common. It's not recommended. So that was a risk that was impeding over my head when I initially brought these two rabbits home. So let me see if I can find a little photo here. These two little guys. I have a video of Aiden Bell skateboarding, which I think is a sport that you should take up. Skateboarding is actually something that during the pandemic I've gotten back into a lot. Um, I did it when I was like pretty young, but I decided to enjoy it a little bit more.
I
And
almost
there's a
bought
lot
an
less people
electric one
walking.
this summer. I didn't. Well, I almost did.
That would
So
be sweet.
yeah,
Like the
but
battery powered ones.
yeah, one of the battery powered ones, but then car, so that's better.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Speaking of the car, tell us how this came to fruition.
Let's focus on the bunnies. Let's do the list in order because it's not even technically my car.
Yeah,
Can
you're a
I
dude.
show off my mom's Instagram here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go for it.
I don't know if you'll be able to see it
These
really.
photos are super old.
Um, so uh, our farm's kind of exploded in the past 6 months. Like we went from having um, just chickens to having cows to having more cows and sheep and ducks and bunnies and quail. Like it's been a lot, and I don't really understand why. I'm gonna show off the Instagram feed here. Everest can't see any of this unless he goes to YouTube. Um, oh, here's a video of me driving a tractor and squishing the this thing. You hear about my dad's new tractor?
Is it the John Deere one?
The John Deere, yeah.
I saw you. I saw you putting some mulch down there, spreading some
Yeah.
mulch. That was good.
I think this is from later in the day, but like there's a video of me where I hit the emergency release on the bucket because they've got that they've got like that little plywood hat or whatever there to help spread the mulch, and I hit the emergency release on the bucket and it just falls and it crushes the crushes the hat. Here's our cows.
Oh my God.
Look at our cows. It's Chuck, Mo, and Larry. I think it's supposed to be Curly, Mo, and Larry, but my parents don't understand how the Three Stooges work. Oh, what's
Chuck,
that?
Curly, Moe, and
Oh, and it's
Larry.
our sheep. There's Winston, and one of those is Pearl, I think, and then Willow.
But
Uh, what else is there?
one thing to note about quails are pretty cool, eh? And they have like probably the most beautiful egg I've ever seen.
Dude,
Like
okay.
their egg is
I'm about to tell you a
pretty.
story, okay? I'm about to light up your world here. So, I can't
All
look
right.
at quail egg anymore, right? Like they just instantly gag reflex
Mm-hmm.
when I see a quail egg because when you go to hatch them, you can't really tell which ones are fertilized and which ones aren't. You just go and you buy a dozen quail eggs for eating, and then you put them in the incubator. So we bought quail eggs off some Laotian lady, and we put like 48 in our incubator or something like that, and 17 hatched. And they hatched while I was in Ottawa. I was the guy reaching into the incubator to pull them out and put them in their little, you know, towel covered run thing. Um, but
Mm-hmm.
48 minus 17, I don't know what that is. That's how many eggs didn't hatch. That's how many eggs weren't fertilized and were sitting in a humid, hot incubator for 45 days.
Holy.
So you open this little pressurized, humid little box, and you get this gale force wind of just the most mind altering stench. And it doesn't matter if you plug your nose, hold your breath, like it finds its way in there. It goes in through your eyes or some shit. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's freaking crazy. I saw
So
a crazy video. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say back to the Instagram. My mom's been pickling the eggs, and every time I see her grab one out of the jar and eat it, I straight up gag. Like I can't. Like it's so gross to look at, just because I associate that
Oh,
visual with that smell that I will never forget.
oh man. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like get that image at like I'm just picturing this like what that smell would be like, and I feel like I'm getting it pretty accurately.
Oh yeah.
Mm. I saw a video like you're talking about like the incubation. I saw a video of a guy. he wanted to see if his own body temperature, if he could incubate an egg himself, like play the role of mother type of thing.
Like sit on it?
And so yeah, well he got like just a regular chicken egg, and he built this like cardboard box for it that had like the top open, so the top quarter of the egg could be exposed, and then he had it lined with like silver uh, sheeting, and he put wool and a bunch of warm insulation in there, and then the top quarter would be attached to his stomach, right, and it'd be skin to skin, skin to egg contact, and then the box would be around it. Taped it to himself, left it in there for like left it on his stomach for like multiple weeks or something like that. But it hatched like he hatched like a like fully developed, perfectly healthy chick, which is pretty crazy, man. That's pretty cool. I wonder though if there's like some like weird like psychological tie that the chick's gonna have to the man or like something like that. You know, I
Yeah.
wonder if that biological like kind of
Or
anchoring sets in with a different species.
I just wonder if it's like the stupidest chicken ever birthed, Because
Yeah,
you think like an egg, like it sits there and the mother comes and sits on it and then goes away for a little bit and comes and sits on it. This guy was like, what was he going about his daily life? Like just shaking this poor
he was
chicken
literally like
fetus to death?
yeah. So he'd be like, "All right, it's Tuesday at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm just checking the egg, making sure I didn't crush it in my sleep." And that's like literally what he'd do. And he'd like check in, make sure that it was fine. But then he woke up. It was so funny because it was like a human birth almost when the egg was hatching. He like woke up in the middle of the night and flicked the light on and brought his phone and was like, "My egg is hatched. My egg is hatched." You know, like the water breaking, and then he's like, "I feel it." Then he like takes it off and he does this whole little event, and then yeah, it was great, but it was cool. It was cool to see that that could actually happen.
It's still weird, very weird.
Yeah, it was very weird. It was I
Yeah.
got yeah I skimmed through. I got to the end message quick.
Oh my god, that is bizarre. Was he some like
Hey, let me ask
southerner
you
redneck dude, or was this like a yeah?
literally exactly what you could think of is him. That's what it was. Let me ask you this: if you could self incubate any animal, like I'm talking about like any animal, fictitious, non-fictitious, what would it be, and what companion creature would you choose?
I just gotta go with alien. The face hugger, and then it bursts out of your stomach. Just alien, dude. Just because that's like already a thing,
Like from like Rick and Morty or something, or an
Like
alien?
you've seen
Oh
Alien,
my
right?
god!
With
Yeah,
Sigourney Weaver.
yeah. That's okay.
Yeah, that's what I'd go for. Wouldn't that be great?
And I
If
could
it just
I could
like
picture
burst
that. I
out
could
from
picture
you
you
and
like
it's an Aiden
walking
themed.
up to the dog park.
Yeah, it's an Aiden themed. It's got a little taft of blonde hair and it wears some
It's got like
plaid.
one blonde curl, like
Yeah,
one little blonde hair. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, you take a dog, you take it to the park. All the other dogs, like no pit bulls are gonna mess with that, man. That
yeah.
thing's gonna destroy it. Yeah.
How about you? What would you do?
Um. What I wanted to tell you about a film that's really good. Life with Jake Gyllenhaal. Basically features like six astronauts that go to Mars to retrieve physical samples of a like living crustacean, pretty much. It's like a living cell on Mars. They bring it back on board of their vessel. They start heading back home. They inject it with a slight amount of growing glucose, um, and then it basically morphs over a certain amount of time into this like sentient creature, and it's like a squid kind of base form, but each cell is its own living, breathing, thinking individual cell. So it's just the potential of like what this creature can do is insane. It's a really good film, and I just think it's interesting because it relates a lot of the science that they use in that movie to science that they're using for like creating plant-based meat, stuff like that. It's pretty interesting
Neat.
and scary. Yeah, and it gives me a lot of Alien vibes too.
Because that was a thing this year too, right? There was two Alien things. The first one, I remember I was with you. I was in the work van, and you're like, "Bro, did you hear about the aliens?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" and you're like, no, bro, the aliens are real, and they are like,
Yeah.
I look it up, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's something like the FBI or no, the what's that place called? The Pentagon has been like, hey,
Mhm.
we have found craft that are beyond humans' technology, and I was like, like that
Yeah.
whole that GIF
Yeah.
from Tim and Eric. The
I,
other
I
one,
just
you good?
yeah, yeah, sorry, go ahead. My bad.
Okay. And then the other one was they found some sort of chemical that's in pee or something like that on Venus. Venus? Was it Venus? We should fact check this,
Okay.
dude. I don't want to be
Yeah,
Alex Jones.
maybe. Fact check that.
Not right now. We'll do. We'll fact check it
Yeah,
and
we'll
put it in the
do
next
that.
episode.
Yeah, we'll do that later.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, man. But they haven't. It was so weird because the Pentagon said we've identified that this is something we cannot identify. Here, there'll be more information coming in the next coming weeks, and then it was nothing. It was
Yeah.
just that like statement. There was no elaborate, posts.
Maybe it was just to get everyone to stop talking about the coronavirus for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Stop freaking focusing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, if aliens are real, man.
If aliens are real.
Let me. So, would you think they're friendly or foe?
Um, I think it depends on like what they are. Like, are we talking about like a breed of, space chickens that we can eat? Like, are we?
I would say
I think
that.
it's gonna be like the
Yeah.
Europeans in the New World, right? Depends on who is the European in the
Right.
situation.
Right.
So if we're the ones going like, hey, neat space chicken, Kentucky Fried Space Chicken, then we win. I think if they're like, hey, Kentucky Fried Space Chicken, we're in trouble.
Hmm. That's true. That's actually a good point. You don't really think about it on like such a basic like predator prey aspect. That's
Yeah, but
actually
like
true. I hope we're not the deep fried chicken. I don't want to be the deep fried chicken.
I heard an example or something like that. It was the example of like a squirrel in a forest, right? So when we go through and you know cut down a forest to make a housing development, we've destroyed that squirrel's world. But to us, it's like go pick another forest. Like an alien civilization could come and be like, this
Right.
this planet's the perfect place for us to put a casino, and it's a whole planet casino or something like that, and they just wipe us out, and then we're like, hey, you killed us, bro. But they're like, oh, you could have just found another planet. Like the things that are
Yeah.
important to us could be so unimportant. Is what I'm making saying sense?
No,
Is
you're
what I'm
actually
saying making
so
sense?
no, dude, no, no. You're actually making. I really like what you're saying right now. Keep going.
I don't I don't know what else to add to that, but
No, no, but you're saying like what matters to us.
might not matter
Like we
to them.
cannot ever even assume that it matters to them at all. So
Like if we're a lower order life form, then our well, the book The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy does a really good job of conveying this idea, right? Because they vaporize planet Earth to put in a intergalactic highway because it shaves 15 minutes off the commute of another alien going to work.
mm. Oh, you got me like thinking about it. I never really related to. I guess I always kind of assumed that if extraterrestrials are real, which I believe they are, right? Just given the vastness of the universe, like we immediately assume that we would be alien to them just as they would be alien to us in the assumption that like it'd be first contact for both races.
Yeah,
That's not necessarily true at all. Like, we can't just assume that they would be holding the same intent for wanting to discover another species that we would be, which is what we automatically assume. Huh. Yeah, you got me thinking. That's a good one. Do
but there's also the whole
you remember that
concept.
a couple years ago? I think it was NASA put together this group of people to build basically a first handshake. to be sent out into the cosmos for any extraterrestrial life, and it was like a gold record player. It was like a gold record, and they like put a bunch of stuff. You remember that?
Yeah, it was
They put
on
like natural.
Voyager 2, I think, and it had like a picture of a man and a woman, and it had a picture of Voyager, so you get an idea of scale.
Well, apparently, they were very generous with the man.
Were they?
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, I heard a lot of comments on that's not average, man. That's you're showing the best of what humanity has to offer. Apparently,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Um, and they did some neat stuff too. Like they showed where we are in the universe, but they like did it with dashes that have something to do with like the lowest energy orbit of hydrogen or some crazy stuff like that. But like that whole thought process of we don't know that these aliens that will find this even understand pictures or like like but chemistry is universal sort of thing. There's a whole field of that's about like marking nuclear sites for like whatever lives here in 20,000 years, whether it's like some form of human, you know, or it's like some sort of lizard person or something like that. Like whatever is on planet Earth in 20,000 years needs to be able to understand the signage at this location to stay away because it is a nuclear site and it will cause harm. Because if you put a skull and crossbones, there could be like archaeologists in the future that like go digging there because they're like, oh, the humans buried their dead here, like.
right. Oh, we could have like we kind of made a lot of this podcast about this kind of theme, but dude, I like what you're talking about. We haven't really talked about this type of stuff.
We got to do a
Even like
full. We
outside.
should do a full episode on this, and we should actually research it because this whole episode was planned in a 5 minute phone call last night, and we're like, what are we gonna talk about? And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
No, we had to put it together, guys. It had to be quick. It had to
Yeah.
be quick. Um,
Do you want to get back on track a little bit
huh.
here? Do you want to tell us about your cottage?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Do you got any
So,
pictures you can send me that I can
ex-
throw up on screen?
the only thing I had for photos was the listing on Realtor, but since it's pretty much bought, like we can't like the photos aren't on the website anymore. Remember I sent you a link.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could still
Do you want
if
to
they're
text
still
me the address
available.
and I can put it on Zillow?
Pardon me?
Do you want to text me the address and I can put it on Zillow and see if I can find some pictures?
Sure.
Shouldn't say the address live on stream.
No, yeah, I'll text you. Um, sorry, just one sec.
You
Okay, I
almost
don't know
bought
why
a
this is
house this
taking
summer
so long.
too. That's a big news.
Yes, I did. My brother and I almost. So my grandmother on my mom's side, she came back from out east. She's moving back, like to Ontario, and she came further west, but still east. My brother and I were thinking about maybe buying her or putting a down payment on her house in Killaloe, which is close to our cottage. Um, she's not sure if she wants to move there 100% yet. But that was kind of in the works. So my brother and I were thinking about maybe doing something like that just because we want to get into working with a pocket of money that, can grow exponentially within a few years without us having to even touch it. But we want to get into starting to work with money like that. But let me try to find this for you. And because of that, um, our family, my girlfriend and I actually moved apartments, which is also pretty cool.
Big move.
Um, Moved from a more expensive to a slightly less expensive,
I
and
still
because of this,
gotta
my parents are able to.
still gotta bring you a housewarming gift. I haven't haven't seen it yet. I'm a terrible friend.
No, dude, it's so hard. It's hard to even be a friend to like anybody in this time. It's so there's so much stuff going on, man.
Yeah,
No, we'll see each other soon. Don't worry. Aiden's Aiden's gonna assist me in putting together a nice old
little
desktop.
desktop setup.
I love it.
He's gonna have
Little
RGB everything.
workstation.
I'm gonna hang my Linus Tech Tips underpants from his computer monitor.
Yeah. Uh, okay. What the heck?
Okay, you gonna text me the address, you donkey,
Okay,
or
I
what?
think I have the address. I'm looking it up, but this is not the right house. Hold on. I don't know why it's
That's okay. We'll have it for next episode. Maybe get your mom to
yeah.
text you some pics.
I don't have it for now. Yeah, I'll get my mom to send me the address.
Yeah.
But that being said, I can elaborate on it. So it's basically 9 acres on the water. Um, the acres are divided into 3 fields. The house itself was built by like a really talented like German carpenter, and so all the woodworking is like hand done um, by this like really talented artist, and it's just beautiful, man. Like the way everything is put together, it looks like a giant puzzle piece, but in the form of an actual house. Like he's such a talented guy, really nice guy. The plan for the actual space itself is we want to divide each of those fields into half fields, or just keep them actually all three the same size. First one is going to be intended to be a giant paintball field, so we're going to have like built blinds. We're going to do like themed actual fights. Like we want to do like a D-Day theme just because we're on the water. So we're going to do a lot of stuff that they do at kind of Commando Paintball in Ottawa. I'm not sure if a lot of you guys have been there. Aiden, I'm pretty sure you've been to Commando in Ottawa, right?
I have been to Commando. What you're failing to
Yeah.
realize now is that while you've been describing your nice German woodworking, I've been showing pictures of shacks.
Hey,
It's
okay,
a nice
so that's
property. I
first thing.
guarantee you that it's a nice property. I'm just screwing with them.
Yeah, it'll be good. Second field will hopefully be a kind of like a dirt biking area with some jumps and some ramping, and then we'll have trails aside from that all over the place. And then third field will be for some livestock, horses, and then maybe some small chickens. See some stuff like that, and then hopefully get some more dogs. But it's exciting, man. In the midst of chaos, you can always take a minute and just try to build something nice.
Yeah, it's a good time for it, man. Good time to get an escape property, you know? Just somewhere you can
Yeah,
like go to get away. That's kind of Ottawa for me, right? So I just come back here and
yeah,
it's like, okay, I can go. I have 10 acres to wander without a mask on, and I'm fine.
yeah. And that's kind of like the only benefit of like getting to drive around for work often right now is just because if I go in on like a Friday and I've been cooped up for 2 weeks or a week, every day in the same apartment, I get to drive to like 2 hours up north and just go sit by the lake for a minute. That's kind of the best positive that's come out of it for sure.
Oh yeah, your nice Ferrari van.
Have you? Oh, we should talk about testing. If we've gotten tested, how we found like the actual like action of getting tested has gone for both of us. Like,
I have
how's it
not
been for you?
I have not been tested because I have not shown symptoms at any point, and I've not been exposed to anybody at any point. And it is my personal belief that testing should be for the people that are symptomatic, like people that like have a reason to be tested, and two, that like going for a test to me seems like a good place to get COVID, right?
I know.
Do you think
Yeah,
everybody that has COVID that we know of has gotten a test? They're all there, you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
Have you been tested?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about too. So I had to get tested like like about for work. It was like weeks. It was weeks ago. It was like weeks before I saw you that last time when you came out for work. And when I got tested, I was just feeling I had like a sore throat, wasn't feeling 100%. So I was like, hey, I don't want to go into work and obviously like see anyone and risk, giving them anything, even if it wasn't COVID. If I was just going to give them like a cold or something, I didn't want to weaken anybody's immune system, especially anybody older at work. So I got tested, and Liz and I both got tested actually, and I have to say I was surprised with how quick and efficient their testing was. At least when we went, like we went a little like after everything was kind of settled in, and they had a mode of operation for getting people tested and keeping the lines efficient and not too long. But we were only in line for I'd say like an hour max, not even, and it felt like way shorter than that because it was constantly moving. But the test itself, we got in and out in like 15 minutes. It was really, really quick and easy. And then I got my results back within like a couple days and negative, easy. Um, but yeah, the one thing that I was thinking about was they wanted me to go back to the exact same entry point with the whole line of possibly ill people to pick up my paper copy of my results. And I said, well, it's kind of ridiculous. Like I'm going to go back and be at risk of being exposed to all these people that might have COVID again, and then just to get my physical paperwork that says I'm negative for the
Yeah,
results. You know what I mean?
that's a little bit.
Kind of, it's just kind of like, why would you bring me
Bro,
back
just
there
email it to
if you
me,
know I'm
you know?
negative? Yeah. So I got them to email it to me just by asking. So very
Uh,
strange.
my little brother got tested on Sunday because he came back from the
Mm-hmm.
trailer park with a little bit of a sniffle or something like that, and he's now infected my other brother and my dad. And I've kind of had shots of it too, where like for 4 hours at night or 4 hours in the morning or whatever, I'll feel like crap and then I'll feel okay again. So what I'm saying is that it's the Toronto
Yeah.
germs fighting the trailer park germs, and they're kind of going like this back and forth. And the trailer park germs will win for a little while, and I feel like crap. And then the Toronto germs are like, nah, we're on top, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's hilarious. I feel like like the trailer park germs will be more powerful in the early morning when the sun's rising, and the Toronto germs will be more powerful at night. Yeah,
Yeah. Although
something
it's
like
it's
that.
been
That's
generally been at
crazy.
night that I felt like crap. Like it's generally around when I eat dinner, you know?
Wait, you
Yeah.
feel bad like around dinner time or like after you eat dinner?
Yes. Both.
Yes. Oh,
It's just been like off and on. It's my thing. So I guess we'll wait until he comes back negative before I even try to go back to Toronto.
mm,
Because we should probably isolate in Ottawa if there's even a chance, you know.
yeah. So yeah, are you guys like is the whole family technically in isolation right now? For that?
I mean,
So
yes
so.
and no, sort of. Like I had to go into town to pick up Nyquil for my dad, so
Yeah.
someone has to go pick up Nyquil, and I was feeling fine. So, but again, I'm
Yeah,
getting negatives, so
when I was not feeling the best like a couple months ago, I just got some halls, and I like after I got my test done and everything like that, I like was just walking around the street and I like took out my halls and I like put one in my mouth, and I got like four people just looking at me like, oh, like he has a sore throat. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I get it, I'm good, but I'm negative, but like still, people just the side eyes people are giving me.
yeah, I stopped in the thrift store yesterday and I FaceTimed my dad because I found like a bow in the lockup and I know he wants a bow, right? Like bow and arrow. Um, and I was FaceTiming him and he's like, "Where are you?" And I'm like, "At the thrift store." He's like, "What are you doing in town?" And I'm shouting at my phone in the middle of the thrift store. I'm like, "Oh, I'm in town to pick you up NyQuil. NyQuil. I'm getting you NyQuil." It's just like everyone at the thrift store is looking at me like, "Why are you here?" You know, but I'm like, I'm okay, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. I'm glad that like it's good that I don't know. You know how like it affects younger children less, and it affects older people more heavily. I guess it's like kind of like the one good thing about the virus is like at least the young the young are spared. to some degree.
Oh yeah.
But apparently, like a young like 3-year-old or something got it right.
I think so.
Like recently, I heard
All right, we
like a
got to do our
young
closing
young
remarks. We're
kid
in our
got
last
it.
minute here.
Yeah, last minute. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. If you did to listen to Aiden and I's banter in our catch-up episode for the start of season 3. Aiden, you want to give any shout-outs?
Shout out Graham, Nolan, Hayden, Andrew, Lila, Amber, fucking Eunice as always. Shout
Shout
out,
out to Bell Family Farm.
shout out Danny K from ARD. Shout out Calvin L from
Mm.
ARD. Who else? I think that's it really.
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah. Shout out Calvin.
Mandeep.
All right, guys. Thank you, Mandy, our boys. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great week. Be safe, be healthy, be happy. We'll see you next Wednesday at 10 a.m.
See you then. Peace.